Good morning. Happy Thursday to everybody. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. And been listening to some old Three Dog Night music and enjoying it this morning. Maybe I'll play a little bit on our way out the door here. But I'm going to share the screen. Things are looking up. Looks like the market's trying to rally. We'll take a look at some of the internals a little later. Here's the heat map. S&P 500, everything looks pretty green. Meta is pulling back slightly. And Eli Lilly's up big. They crush estimates. And their drug, which is competing with NVO's drug for dietary drug, is doing well. So let's look at the heat map. Once again, I wanted to share our look. Let's see where it disappeared to. Our annuity. Annuity, you never lose money in an annuity. Once it goes up a step, it never comes back down. Whereas the index fluctuate often, and sometimes they have a great big pullback, 25 to 50%. And you can sleep better at night. A lot of people talk about index investing. Well, annuity average annual growth just sweeps the floor with them, beating them by approximately 5%. So there's our look at annuity, and annuities are currently offering 40 to 45% bonus for any new cash coming into an annuity. Let's pull up our charts. CAVA group gapping up today. I wish I have kept more of my spread trades, but money protection is often better than greed. And this is another stock that we've been looking at in the uranium space, trending up. Originally bought this at 85 cents and it just keeps marching up. I believe 1 year estimate is $2.78. So we'll look at that a little bit more, but let's go to the news. Double Line Capital CIO Jeff Gundlach, speaking Wednesday on CNBC late yesterday, said mounting federal deficit, which stood at 1.7 trillion, is up 320 billion or 23% from a year ago as of September 30th, according to the Treasury Department. Could eventually overwhelm government's ability to service its debts. The deficit marks the third largest on record after fiscal years 2020 and 2021. The bull-bear spread, an American Association of Individual Investors, AAII weekly survey, was down 26 versus 13.9 last week. And my finger moved everything away from my eyesight. Let me get it back here. And bulls fall to 24.3 from 29.3. Neutrals fall to 25.4 from 27.5. And bears rise to 50.3 from 43.2. Israel said its forces are pushing deeper into Gaza, including making advances into Gaza City in the north and heavy fighting against Hamas militant, according to Bloomberg. On to sector news breakdown. Airbnb. Q3 revenues rose 18% year over year to 3.40 billion versus estimate of 3.37, and it's selling off on the news, even though the earnings are up 270%, a nearly 200% earnings surprise, and it sells off. Go figure. Avis budget, car, CAR, Q3 EPS $16.78 versus $14.16. And look at that gap up. And theirs is down 23% and 18% to earnings surprise, and they gap up big time. Clorox, CLX, Q1 adjusted EPS 49 cents versus 22-cent loss, gapping up big time. Their earnings came down 47%, but look at that, almost 1,000% earnings surprise. Yeah, you'd gap up on that as well. DoorDash, Q3 EPS loss of 19 cents versus estimate loss of 40 cents, and it's going to the moon. Look at that move and all this buying activity. Earnings surprise is still down 163%, but this is the largest buying volume since its first space. Very amazing. Elf Beauty. This is one of the leaders from last 6 months. Been trending down. Earnings came in at 128% increase, 56% earnings surprise, and it is up slightly. Howard, looked like it gapped up in the morning and has sold off ever since. Selling on the news. There was no buying on the rumor. Etsy, Q3 EPS 64 cents versus 49-cent estimate, and it's up slightly, so slight you can barely see it. Earnings surprise is negative 36%. Mondelez, MDLZ, Q3 adjusted EPS 82 cents versus estimate 74 cents. And they're continuing their move of the right side up. Earnings came in at 14%, nearly 5% earnings surprise. Six Flags, SIX, agreed to merge with its competitor Cedar Fair, and they like that news. Huge volume, 2 days in a row. It's up to its 50-day moving average. Entertainment company Fun, in an all-stock deal that will Cedar Fair Entertainment Company Fun in an all-stock deal. They didn't like that so much with Cedar, but it's hanging in there. EPS is down 20% on Cedar, was a little over 11% earnings surprise. Starbucks, Q4 adjusted EPS $1.06 versus estimate of 92. Woo! Look at that rocket above its 200-day. We'll see if it can continue. Earnings up 31%, 9% earnings surprise. And Zillow Group, Q3 revenue rose 3% year over year, 496 million versus 484.44 million estimate, and it continues to trend down. People were not excited. Negative earnings surprise of 3.6. On to energy. American Water, Q3 EPS $1.66 versus estimate of $1.65, and people like that. Earnings up 2%, a 0.24% earnings surprise above its 20-day moving average. They got some relatively good volume here. APA Group, Q3 adjusted EPS $1.33 versus estimate $1.09. Initially sold off, and now it is fighting back. Earnings is down to 33%. Earnings surprise of nearly 23%. Edison International, quarter three EPS $1.38 versus $1.46. Not good news, but not selling off as bad as it could. Marathon Oil, quarter three EPS 77 cents versus 71. Initially sold off in the news, and it is trending upwards now. 38% decline with a 7.36 earnings surprise. Solar Edge, these solar stocks were really trending down and no improvement there. Quarter three EPS 55 cents versus estimate of $1.12. That's not going to win you in the ball game. Sunrun, quarter three EPS lost $4.92 and revenues of $563.18 million versus estimate of 578. And surprise, surprise, it's going up. Missed its estimates and it's going up. I guess the 308% earnings surprise is helping this one out. It's up a little over 10%. Finally, in energy, Williams Energy, quarter three adjusted EPS 45 cents versus estimate 41. Initially sold off and now is rising, trying to get back into the buy area. Volume's kind of muted here. We got a lot of earnings here. We'll just take some of the top ones. In healthcare, BioMarin, quarter three EPS 46 cents versus 22. Even though earnings are up 70%, 178% earnings surprise, stock sells off. Cigna, quarter three EPS 677 versus 677. Met estimates up 12%, and it's moving up strongly. Here's Eli Lilly, which crushed it. Quarter three EPS 10 cents versus estimate loss of 15 cents, gapping up today. It's on its low right now, but earnings surprise of 156%. Exact Science selling off on 101% earnings growth, 102% earnings surprise, and it's still selling off. Amazing. McKesson sold off slightly, earnings surprise, earnings up 3%. Tandem Diabetes, loss of 51 cents versus 34 cents. It's moving down onto industrial and materials. Albemarle, $2.74 versus $3.99. It's up 0.83%. And this is where they get the minerals for making the lithium batteries. CF Industries, quarter three EPS 85 cents versus $1.03. It's fighting to come back, but miss estimates like that, you shouldn't move up. C.H. Robinson, quarter three adjusted EPS 84 cents versus estimate 82. Tried to move up and is selling off. Curtis Wright, quarter three EPS 254 versus estimate 238. It's moving up. Precision components for defense, commercial, and industrial. Manitowoc gapped up, closing on its low. EPS 22 cents versus 6 cents. Werner Enterprises, quarter three EPS 42 cents versus estimate 49. It continues to decline. Qualcomm in technology, media, and telecom. And this is our final category today. Qualcomm quarter four EPS $2.02 versus estimate $1.91. And look at that gap up. Wow. Up 32, down 32%. Earnings surprise of 53%. ANSYS quarter three EPS $1.41 versus $1.26. It's not being treated the same as Qualcomm. Avnet quarter one EPS $1.61 versus $1.51. Continues to sell off. Cognizant Technology quarter three EPS $1.16 versus $1.09. Continues to sell off. Did not meet what they were expecting. Disney announced that it will acquire a 33% stake in Hulu, held by Comcast, NBC Universal for $8.61 billion. Disney is gapping up 2.36% on the news. And Comcast continues to heal, up 1.42%. DXC Technology, quarter two EPS 70 cents versus estimate 67 cents. 3-cent beat, and look at that jump. Look at all the volume coming into this. Amazing. EA Incorporated, quarter two EPS $1.47 versus $1.25. Gaps up, closed in the bottom quadrant. Earnings up 1%. Form Factor, quarter three EPS 22 cents versus estimate 17 cents. Goes nowhere. Got a blue dot here, but the line is declining. Trying to wait further news. MicroStrategy bought 6,067 Bitcoin since the end of quarter two, spending 167 million, bringing the company's total holdings to 158,400 Bitcoins. And it looks like they're trying to break out. Cup with a handle here. We've got some huge volume. We've been reporting on this. Corvo, quarter two adjusted EPS $2.39 versus $1.77. And they were not greeted with applause in this. It's down 3%. Roku, quarter three EPS loss $2.33 versus estimate loss of $2.18. What? They had a worse loss than expected, and they gap up and are on their high. Maintain expectations, and this is what you get. And finally, the leader in tech for the last 6 to 9 months, Supermicro, quarter one adjusted EPS $3.43 versus $3.20, and it goes nowhere. So there we have our earnings. Let's take a look at our dollar. See what the dollar index is doing. It's gapping down today. This is going to be good for the multinationals, and let's see what gold is doing on this. Gold is only up slightly. Silver. Oh, silver is pulling back. Amazing. Copper. Euro copper finally gets a bid, up 2.5%. Southern Copper gapping up nearly 3%. And FCX, Freeport McMoran, gapping up as well, up 3.6%. And let's look at our bonds. Bond yields. Wow, look at that big gap down. That'll help the market. Yes, I would imagine so. Is the highs over? Or is this only a temporary fix? We'll have to keep tuning in. The 20-year bond gapping down big time as well. The VIX should be pulling back pretty strong, which it is. S&P 500 gapping up. Can it get above its 50-day? That's a big question. I think bond yields hold the key. And equal weighted S&P 500 is up even more. It's a pretty good sign, getting above its 20-day, up a little over 2%. NASDAQ up 1.8, gapping up. Equal weighted NASDAQ up 2%. Small caps gapping up 2.41%. And the Dow Jones as well. Let's take a look at financials. Gapping up pretty strong, up 2.18. Energy, big time move, bouncing off of their 200-day. Look at oil. Oil is up a little over 2%. Everything's up a little over 2%, it looks like today. Communications, where Google and Meta are 1%, not doing quite as well. Biotech gapping up 1%. IBB, wow, look at that one, up 1.33. Although it didn't gap up, that's a pretty strong move. Software gapping up 1.6. Technology gapping up above its 50-day moving average, up 1.7. Semiconductors up nearly 3% today. Building materials, look at that. Up 1.75, gaps up above its 20-day moving average. Mining and metals gapping up above its 20-day moving average, up 2%. And home builders, look at that move. That's a big gap up. I think they, like the Treasury bond yield, pull back big time. So let's take a look. Our professional money managers are moving their money today. Number one, Shopify. Look at that huge volume. Look at that gap up. Went up 1, 2, 3, 4 moving average lines above the 10, 20, 200, and now the 50. Up 22%. Amazing. I'm just blown away by that. So we got Elf. We looked at that a little bit. Elf Beauty, Oakland, California company. Tenaris. Earnings came in at 13%. Look at this volume. Huge move, huge gap up 8.83%. CyberArk Software, Israeli company, which had sold off quite a bit. Big volume today, huge buying. It's getting into its buy area. See if it gets continued support. Net, Cloudflare, earnings are due after the close. Check back with that, up 3.66. If I can hit the right keys, that'd be dangerous. Dorian LPG, continues to just soar through the clouds. Its earnings came in at 330% up, 31% earnings surprise. My screen disappeared for a moment. AIG and insurance. Big move. They like their earnings, up 92%. Huge volume. Ferrari continues to be bought up. Look at that gap up. We got a increase, new high in the relative strength line. This is early buy area. PTC. Look at that move. Provides 2D and 3D computer-aided design, manufacturing, and engineering software. Big move. New high on the relative strength against the S&P 500, even though their earnings declined 6% in the period. Earnings surprise of 98% will do it for you. And finally, Cocoa Water. Getting moved higher, 100%. You can find this at Costco. Manufactures coconut oil, milk, energy drink, enhanced water. Let's see what people are moving out of. Confluent, cloud-based platform for data infrastructure software. Pcor. Wow, that's a gap down and a half. 16.05%. Remitly was trending until their earnings came in. A negative earnings surprise of 550%. Holy cow, down 34% today. Regal Rexnord down 15.5%. Powertrain Solution, power transmission components. Tenable Holdings down 15%, increase of 433% in volume. Cybersecurity Solutions not carrying the day. Nari Medical down nearly 20%, even though their earnings came in at 126%. Earnings surprise of 150%, but did not fit the bill. Aptiv down 10%. Another vehicle component manufacturer. TPX down 8%. Heavy volume. Earnings only increased 1%. And finally, KBR down 12.91%. Tech, engineering, logistics support for government and companies around the world. And there we have that. And so let's take a look at some of Tesla is rising on some Model 3 hope, it looks like. Apple, I believe their earnings are after the close today. They're up 2%. Mr. Softy, Microsoft, working on a cut. Earnings came in at 27% positive, gapped up, then pulled back. And possible early entry right here today. Volume is kind of muted. Look at Netflix. Looks like a double bottom here. There's a W. Would be a buy if it gets above, gets to 453.55. Can continue to watch that. Google gapping up here today. Meta got a pullback, but it's still above the magic 300 number. And it would need to get to 330.64 for a breakout buy. And let's not forget about NVIDIA. Gapping up here today, up 3%. So that's a look at that. And let's take a closer look here. DNN, Denison Mines. So we can see broke out of a cup and pulled back. Got a tight area, tried to break out and then pulled back again. And looks like it's trying to work on the right side of a base here again. Not sure if this base is actually long enough. We'll keep an eye on it. And look at CCJ. And a killer earnings report. 967 earnings increase. 240% earnings surprise. And this is what you call an old-fashioned breakout. It's up another 4.37% today. Earnings expected to grow 152%. CAVA gapping up today. Earnings are in 5 days. So a little over 6%. We'll see if it can continue and get the right side of its base as financial managers are going through a due diligence with this company. I think long term is a great buy. We'll just have to see where it goes from here. BLTE, I've been pounding the table about this one. First came on the show right around here. This was a shelf pattern I was talking about. So this was going to either break down or break out, and it broke out, went up about 50%, and now it is consolidated and is breaking out again. So when it pulled back here, I got out of everything, and when it started pulling up here, I got back into it. And I have 100 more shares than I had originally. So I believe the target is $48. Apparently they have no competition for their treatment of age-related metabolic diseases, liver disease, and diabetes, and macro degeneration of the eyes. GLSI was in the same program. Had it right over here. Said this would move one way or the other. Wasn't sure if it was going to go up or down. And it's decided to go down, and we'll just continue to watch it. At one time, this was over $160. And people are believing it's going to go up to like 35, 38. So we'll continue to watch it, see if there is actual buying in this area. At the moment, there is not. Crowd, strike holdings, tried to break out here, failed, and now it's pulling back up again. That's right around 182. So, and the other one is Zscaler. Looks very similar. These two I really like for long term. We'll just see if the bonds can play ball. And finally, Meta has been staying in this channel pattern, really getting along with buying, pulling up to 300, tried to break out, it's pulling back here now. We'll just continue to watch. Once again, I think bonds will have a big deal. And these are our core stocks that we really like. And that's our report for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information, educational purposes only. Hope you have a great day.